Hello, everyone. Welcome to COP28. My name is Qiming Peng. I am a Secretary General of the TCP Taiwan Climate Partnership. And today, our side event, right now, the Dubai time is about 16:45, and almost it's our last sessions. And the Taipei time is 8:45. We welcome two speakers to join us. Our topic is about city and climate, resilience, and smart city, IoT. Our previous session, we talked about the digital and green transformation. We invited EGDC and also AUO and also some Japan friend talking about how we can have a twin transformation. This topic we will continue such as kind of issues because yes, our last speaker from the EGDC, he is also from the telecommunication. He mentioned about the importance about the telecommunication, how they can do. It's very important. And actually from some ICT industry, especially in Europe, their leading company already claim 2040 by net zero. So it's very important. So our two speakers today, we have the first one is Dr. Jin Qi. He's a president of the Far Eastern. Actually, I am also a user of Far Eastern for a long time. And the second speaker is Li Zhenyu Li. He's a Secretary General of the Global Organization of Smart City. We can say it's a Go Smart. Actually, Zhenyu is also my teacher of the body combat. Very handsome guy. So today we have two speakers. Each one maybe have 15 to 20 minutes to talk, and later on we can have a panel discussion. And also we have also a friend online, and also we will put all of the video today on our website. So please, the first speaker, we give the floor to Dr. Jin Qi, please.
Okay. Thank you,
Hello?
Mr. Peng. Can you hear me?
Yeah, wonderful. Please, you can share your screen.
Yes, I'm trying. Yes, this now looks a little different than we just practiced. So give me just 1 minute.
Yeah. You know, the previous talk we talk our friend Louis Neef. Actually, he's a telecommunication guy. Jesse, organized CEO of the Jesse. He talked about telecommunication is also very important for the net zero.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen and let me know if you see it and hear it. All right.
Can you? Okay. Okay. Try to. Okay, wonderful. Please, full screen.
I'll do the full screen mode.
Yeah. The floor is yours, please. Wonderful.
All right, we are in business. Okay. Well, thank you all. And my name is Chi Cheng. I'm the president of Far Eastern Telecom.
Excuse me. Jin Qi, do you want to show your camera, turn on your camera or no?
Sure. Let me see.
Okay.
Can you see me now?
Not yet.
All right. Hold on. Let's see.
Wait a minute.
Well, you know, let me just go ahead, not to waste the time here, and
Okay.
I'll figure out how to present myself later. Okay, how's that?
Okay.
Yeah, somehow I couldn't find that video right now in this mode.
Okay. You use a Mac?
No, this is just a PC.
Okay. Yeah, please.
All right. Okay. Well, first of all, it's an honor to be invited to speak at this forum and one of the COP28 forums to share some of the work that we have done in Taiwan to promote smart cities, smart and green cities, and also how to increase the resilience of these cities. So as we all know, the impacts of climate change are being realized and observed across the board. And Taiwan, of course, is no exception. And first of all, we have the air quality because of we still have relying on like more than 80% of fossil fuel power generation. And then even so, we still have we are still very lean on our backup power when we are in the peak hours or peak time. So if there's any glitch, like if the bird chew up some piece of wire, and then we can have a power outage. And then also because we are on the tropical island, it is located in Southeast Asia. So we got quite a bit of typhoons. So even though sometimes a typhoon could tease us and detour, but still it could leave behind quite heavy rainfall, and then which then cause flooding. So these are the areas that we wanted to address, and we have done some work working with the local governments. So we're going to show you some of the work we have done in these areas. And in addition to that, we're going to show, what we could do more in terms of helping with this carbon reduction, carbon emission reduction. So these are the 6 areas I'm going to touch on. The first ABC, that's these 3 areas I kind of touch on at the very first slide. And then the last 3 are talking about some of the energy management system related work that we have been doing. So first of all, this is the smart meteorological monitoring. So this is PM25. So we actually have deployed the IoT network and for remote sensor data collection and data analysis. But then most importantly, we need to help pinpoint where the issues are, and for the government reinforcement to really force some of the factories to improve. So until this day, we actually have done in 12 counties and cities and established more than 5,000 monitoring stations. And these work, help reduce the PM25 level. And then here is city of Taoyuan, and then we have a video to share with you the efforts in this area and the results they have shown so far.
Taoyuan is the gateway city of Taiwan with convenient transportation. With a large number of industrial parks as well, Taoyuan UP has launched an IoT platform for the governance of air quality. The data from 1,000 sets of sensors, meteorological instruments, AI image recognition, and vehicles positioning can be transmitted to monitoring center for IoT application. When major air pollution or alarm occurs, the backward trajectory method can be used to track suspicious pollution sources, improving inspection efficiency. PM 2.5 has been reducing year by year, which is lower than US air quality standard. Taoyuan IoT solution has been improving air quality into yet a livable city.
Okay. So you see, we have done some quite work in reducing the PM 2.5 level for Taoyuan City, and that's pretty much the same story for the rest of the 11 or so counties and cities, just for your information. And the second area I'm going to touch on is the hydrological monitoring. As I mentioned earlier, the typhoons will get us heavy rainfalls, and which will cause flooding. In some areas in particular, there are rivers. In this example, I'm talking about city of Tainan. And then in this area, there are like 5 big cities pass through the city, and there are also 163 regional drainage channels. So this is a very complicated hydrological environment that we are talking about for city of Tainan. So it is always very challenging, and they have done quite a bit of work over the years. But then we see, there's like one more thing that they need to do. Let's show it. Okay. So for example, the monitoring scope, started with the IoT connected, and then they looked at the rainfall and river levels. They also looked at the drainage water levels, the water facilities and the CCTVs and land flooding sensors. They were all there. And however, there was the sewer sensors that was decided to be the last gap that needed to be complete in order for them to have more integrated hydrological monitoring. So this work started just this year, and of course the mobile network coverage is critical. And then even though we have very good mobile broadband and coverage in the island, but then because these are the underground kind of sensors, so the antennas and they need to be fine-tuned in order to make sure the coverage is there. So there's quite a bit of extensive network tuning work for that matter. And then so this is going to fill the gap in the water hydrological monitoring. And then also because in the past, each of the above monitoring type that I mentioned, they were kind of done separately in silos. And then so in the city's effort that they wanted to integrate all these subsystems so they can have an integrated view and when there are problems, because sometimes, well, actually a lot of times there are problems in all over the place. So it's not one kind or the other, and all of them could indicate the problems and sooner or later. So having an integrated view will be what's more desirable and then more functional for the city government. And this is just an example to show you the GUIs and these dashboard present visualizations that we have designed and worked with the city for them. Okay. All right. In the third area is to talk about the power outages. That this is not to talk about how we will help strengthen the power grid, but then rather is looking at, because of these power outages, what are the problems that they may cause and that we may help. So in this particular case, is talking about the traffic lights. So when and then as you may know, Taiwan has a high population density. So many major cities, the traffic lights control the traffic, and there are tons of cars and motorcycles. So if there is a power outage, and then the right away the control is to send personnel on site, but that takes time. So before the personnel is on site, especially if this is like in the nighttime, there's no good daylight, so that could be a big problem, right? Because there's just not good visibility. So how are we going to help kind of help the traffic light to have to improve the resilience due to these power outages? And then so here we actually have a innovation. It is a way to recycle. We got lots of electric motorcycles, and they have those batteries, right? So we are going to recycle those batteries, and then have them, two of them could make a UPS for one traffic light. And this kind of electric motorcycle batteries, usually when it's used more than 20%, it will be sent back. So there's still a lot of probably 1 kilowatts, still left in this battery. So we only need 2 of them, and this could, last for like 4 hours during that power outage. So this comes really handy, and it is also a recycling solution for millions of electric motorcycles batteries in Southeast Asia, because it is my understanding motorcycles are very popular transportation, right, in the South Asia area, India, Indonesia, Thailand, and Taiwan included. So, and then when we go for electric vehicles, and these will be the first. And then so there will be tons of motorcycle batteries that are left for recycle. So this solution is not only for traffic lights. We can use like a 28 to 40 batteries for that size. We can have a small energy storage system established. This is more than just using the 2 batteries. That's why we call them the smart UPS, because on top of it, there is a monitoring system, the EMS, that is connected to it. So we can actually monitor the level of the battery. And then they can be easily changed out, okay? And this is already used in quite a few cities in Taiwan. And just to give you an example, in Taipei City, since we deployed about in 170 major intersections, there are reported like 60 times or so on the average every month that we will have power outages and where these smart UPS will be activated. So they are proven to be very useful and functional. Okay. And this is just the design on the on this UPS for your information. Okay, so the previous three cases are just to address the problems I mentioned at the very beginning. But then there are also more in terms of how to make our city more green and how to reduce the carbon emissions. So as we are anticipating more cars, vehicles will be, shifted to the electric vehicles. And then so we need the infrastructure to support that. For those that would go for electric vehicles, if you ask them what would be the number one concern that you have, at least in Taiwan, they will be telling you, I want to know where to charge because nobody wants to stop on the middle of the road the car. So having well planned charging stations, the EV charging stations are very important as the number of electric vehicles are going to increase. So so far we have Far Eastern has deployed more than 600 charging stations at the 200 more parking lots, and that includes the malls in the major cities. And this work continues. And then actually quite a few of the local governments have started the projects in deploying these electric vehicle charging stations. So this is one area that we see that we will need to continue to help the future cities infrastructure that we will need. And then we have this EMS, energy management system, right? That is homegrown that we created, and it's a platform. And then we have seen quite a few applications where this EMS can be proven very useful. So the first example is in Taiwan's elementary school and middle schools. Not all of them have air-conditioned rooms yet. So last year, our government has undertaken a big project that is to make sure every classroom is air-conditioned. But of course, knowing that we already have power challenges, and then this is going to use more power consumption. So on top of it, we're not just having more air conditions, but we also need to deploy energy management systems to manage it. So last year, we actually deployed this EMS system to manage more than 1,200 schools nationwide. We got kind of half of the projects. We won half of the projects. So this is kind of half of the numbers for total Taiwan. And then it's across 10 counties. And we were able to reduce almost 2,300 carbon emissions, metric tons carbon emissions annually. And then we also use the EMS in factories and plants. And then these help in particular in those traditional industries, the textiles and the steel plants. And then so this is proven to improve the efficiency of power consumption for them as well. And then in the same city, Taoyuan, that where you see the video earlier, that we have replaced more than 80,000 streetlights with LEDs and connected and managed by our EMS. And then we were able to reduce 22,000 of metric tons of carbon emissions annually for them. And of course, Far Eastern is a telecom company, so we have our chain stores. And then we also deploy the EMS to manage our chain stores usage, power consumption. And the same solution is also used in the mall. My mother group has a retail chain. So these are, this EMS is popular with the chain stores like the banks and the retail stores as well. Okay, all right. And the reason why we call it smart EMS, because we have used AI to add into this system. So we will adjust the control parameters according to environmental factors that are measured in real time, collected in real time to meet whatever the power consumption objective may be. So the historical data is what we have to begin with, and then we have some default parameters that the client may have set up. But then after system starts running for a while, and then more data come in, and then the AI is learning what the new norm may be, and then adjust to the new norm accordingly. And then by introducing new control measurements for new control values for the parameters that they are monitoring. So this loop becomes like a self-learning, and then as we go, so more data is collected and AI becomes more smarter in then knowing what the situation may be. So this is a AI-enabled EMS, and that I mentioned earlier. We actually have quite a few applications where this is proven to be helpful. Okay. Last but not least, so we know that the building and construction industries accounted for like a 37%, 37% of the carbon emission globally. So, you know, what can we do with all these buildings in the cities? That definitely is a major, you know, target where we can do something, right, about reducing the carbon emission. So here, what we have here is proposing a self-contained energy solution. It's like a backup power system. So not only you can use the renewable, like the solar panels on the rooftop, and then you would also deploy the energy storage system. So then you can actually spread out the usage, right? And then not, you know, and help alleviate Thai power company when they have this high demand during the peak hours. And then of course we have the EV charging station for the electric cars that will be parked around the buildings. And then also the EMS is a core that will, you know, have these connected and monitored together. And also this carbon footprint verification system needs to be part of it, so we can continuously monitor how we are doing. And hopefully, eventually, we will all, you know, move towards near zero buildings in the future. As I mentioned earlier, this is a total energy solution, but it's really more serves as a emergency backup, right? So the power supply, but then we still have Thai Power in Taiwan. That is our main source of the power supply that we will need to work with the Thai Power's power grid. And then so decentralized or micro power grid is also part of the solutions that we are proposing for the cities, for the communities, and for campuses. And these are all also good to improve our resiliency during disaster time. Okay. So with that, I will say that's about the areas, some of the examples I'd like to share with you that what we have done for the smart and green cities and how to improve the resiliency. And Far Eastern is for sustainable development. And then it is our mission or our vision that your world is connected, and we want to make it easier, kinder, safer, and greener. And with that, I concluded my 15 minutes presentation. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Jinqi, and a very wonderful talk. Actually, I'm a long-term Far Eastern user, and I don't know Far Eastern. Yeah, already more than 20 years, and I don't know the Far Eastern did a lot of things. I don't know, but very wonderful. I'm very proud of to be a user of the Far Eastern. And
thank you.
Okay,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, later on we will have some panel discussion. Later on, I will give the floor to the Dr. Zheng Yu Li. Please, the floor is yours, Zheng Yu Li.
Okay, thank you. Hello.
Yeah. Please share your screen. Yeah.
Can I stop share my slides, please?
Yeah, please. Who want to switch?
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
thank
please.
you, Dr. Pong.
Yeah.
Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Zheng Yu Li. I'm the CEO of the International Cooperation Center of TCA, and also the Secretary General of GoSmart, Global Organization of Smart Cities. Can you move to the next slide, please? And thank you. Thank you for having me to this very wonderful, briefing and also the panel discussion later. I believe that Dr. Jinchi already shared lots of solutions, about the green technology and relevant to the net zero emissions. So, so for the following 50 minutes, I will share some, experience in more like a government side, because in the past 8 years, actually, I'm the director of the Taipei Smart City Office. But actually, I leave the position a few weeks ago. So, so basically, but still have a lot of experience can share with you how exactly for the government can be able to do more to to make the city more sustainable. Next, please. So I think smart city and also the net zero is very popular word in the past 10 years, and for the net zero, especially in the past 5 years, and everybody know that there's a lot of connection between them. But if you look into lots of smart solution in lots of different cities. Next, please. So when we mention about the smart cities, probably, if you look into lots of solutions, in not, really relevant to the, we call it the sustainable solutions. For example, next slide, please. Lots of city actually doing a very fantastic solution for the city. For example, a lot of city do the blockchain solutions for all kind of solutions they're using a city level, and of course the autonomous vehicles, robotics, and recently, especially the generative AI. But if you ask yourself, some of the solution probably not so necessary to use these kind of the latest technologies, due to the very limited resources, and also probably will consume lots of energy in the future, and probably there's a more easy way to deal with the issues. So I think it's very important for the government. You need to rethink about what is your definition of smart city. Are we trying to build fancy smart cities? So I think this is more and more important, because it's really weird if when we try to, for example, we try to replace the traditional street light with the LEDs, try to save some energies, but but we also start to install lots of things that probably would never use it, or use in a very limited way to consume more energies. So what is what's the boundary of the smart solutions? So next, please. So I want to highlight here is actually we need to always need to remind ourselves when we as a the planner or the strategy maker of the smart city solution or plans. The major core value of the smart city is to resolve problem and also make it more sustainable. So it's always very important. We don't need to necessarily to always adapt the best solutions. We need to consider lots of different factors. Next, please. So what I'm going to say is, actually, we need to, for example, in the past few years, we assist Taipei City government to making lots of time of revise the system of the city of government in order to make city better. What I mean is, sometimes you need to not only provide a solution. Of course, there's always a very fantastic solutions, very nice solution. We have a lot of very nice Taiwanese solutions. So it's always very nice to have some good solutions. But sometimes you also need to, I'm not saying that the solution is not important, it's really important, yeah. But sometimes you also need to ask yourself, do we also need to do something to our system to make, everything can go better, go smoother in the future? So so following, I will give you a few examples of how exactly you can do that. Next, please. So that's the very interesting model of the smart typing project that we propose. So what we propose, we're not only trying to adapt solutions, we also, need to be able to discussion with the different stakeholder in different phase in order to make sure that we choose the right solution, suitable solutions, not only good to the problem, but also good to the environment or good to the the whole world. Next, please. So I will show you a few cases that are relevant to the net zero emissions. Next, please. So for example, this is a very simple model that actually we can do lots of improvement by the new technology. I believe that Dr. Jinchi already mentioned a lot. So sometimes it's not very difficult. What we need to do is we need to be able to open our system to be able to adapt new technologies. For example, there's a lot of new energy management systems. So what we do is we need to have have a mechanism to help our public sector to be able to test all kind of the private solutions in different building, different situations. So that makes we understand which one is better for the for our organization and our buildings. So that's one of the very easy examples. So what we do is we need to keep trying, keep be able to do all kind of the tests in our field. So that's the first model that I mentioned my talk. Next one, please. But sometimes we need to figure out how can we use data to do especially for the new data to do something we never do before. This is one of the cases that actually we both know that the traffic is one of the major issue and major producer of the carbon. So for example, in the 2 years ago, Taipei City collect the data from the taxi driver in order to calculate the best place for the taxi driver to be able, to take a rest, and they don't, they're more easy to get a customer and don't need to, drive their car around the streets. So that also make them be able to, very easy to get their business and also to reduce the carbons. So in the past, actually, we don't have this kind of the data, so we cannot, plan this kind of the solution for the taxi driver, for example. So we need to, that's very interesting. We need to figure out what we can do with the new data that also can be able to help, our city can be sustainable. Next, please. So that's another case about the waste collections. Sometimes it's not the we're doing bad in the past. For example, probably most people, I'm not sure if most people know that actually Taiwan is very famous with the waste management system. We're doing very good job in the past 20 years. The recycle rate's about 18%. Is very incredible worldwide. But we also realize, yes, in the past, probably this is a very nice solutions. We collect the garbage by the bag, by the payback. It's very nice to reduce the quantity. I mean the number of the waste. But we also need to ask ourselves, can we do better? So for example, that's the one of the solution that we test in the test 3 years. We do a lot of tests in order to, even reduce more and provide more solution, more better solution to our citizens. So for this solution, it's not a very complicated solution actually. It's a new, we call it iTrace. Actually, it's a new with collection machines and with also the recycle collect machines. It's not a very high tech solutions, but in the past, the reason we don't adapt that because the technology is not good enough. So there was a smell. There were lots of people will dump the garbage around the stations. So it's not a good solution. But recently, with lots of new technology, make it usable. So for example, this machine actually they collect the garbage feet by the weight. So that means that also make people even more to reduce their their waste. So for example, in the past we used the garbage bag. This sometimes even we don't have we already have a bag and we don't have enough weight. So what I mean is the people won't be able to people will not to recycle things if we still have a space for the bag. So that means they don't have a intention to do that. So collect the feed by weight will will also improve their intention to even reduce their waste, reduce their garbage. So this kind of solutions not only provide a convenient solution to the citizen, also significantly reduce the weight of the the number of the waste. And next, please. And due to time, so I will keep the AV case short. So if you have any further question, feel free to contact me in the future. So that's also a very important about the sharing electronic transportations. I believe that Dr. Jinchi already mentioned that people always know that it's very easy to promote the electronic vehicles to improve the carbon reductions. It's true, but I have to say in the government levels, please go to the next page. Next, please. For example, this is the low carbon green transportation roadmap of the Taipei city government. This is very important because in Taipei, I know that every city has a different situation, so you need to understand what is the best ways for your cities. For example, in Taipei, we already have very mature public transportation systems such as metro, bus, and biking systems. So what we do, yes, of course, we will encourage people to, adapt electronic vehicle in the future. That's for sure. But for the city government itself, especially for the Department of Transportation, it's also very important to understand what's your major mission, what's your first priorities. So for Taipei, for example, we believe that to make people to be able to use the public transportation, the green transportation is more important, to adapt electronic vehicles. So what I'm going to say is, if you're able to, you need to understand, if you're able to provide a very nice green transportation in your cities, it's always very good to, to promote it as your first priorities, because you always, reduce the, take the lowest resource for every, transmit. But if you're not, then the private green vehicles, maybe the sharing vehicles, green vehicles will be the very good choice for you. Yeah. So what I'm going to say is there's not only one solution to your city. You need to understand and what kind of situation you have, and do the best choice that you can make. Next, please. So basically, for the Type A, for example, the green public transportation that include, as I say, the metro bus and the bicycles. So that will be the first priority for the Taipei City government to promote. So in the near future, by 2030, all the buses will go electronic. So that's very important. And for the rest of the vehicles, such as sharing vehicle or the private vehicle, we also will help to assist them to go green. Next, please. So that's another case. I think that's my last case. This case, I probably spend some time to explain the case. What I'm going to say is, sometimes it's not only about the technology and solutions. You also need to revise your systems. For example, can we decarbonize by revise our procurement policies? The answer is yes. So for Taipei, as an example, in a very early stage, that most of the Taiwanese government use the lower tender, so it's we always making the procurement by a very specific spec, and in most of time, yes, we get cheaper, but actually we get a very big quality of products and services. And about 4-5 years ago, we assist the Taipei City government to be able to adapt the most advantaged tender for all the smart solutions. It's very important because it make the solution, and better. What I mean is, in the second phase, the price is fixed. So what I mean is, we can give a reasonable price to, and for the private sector. So for the private sector, they are willing to provide a better solution for the city or government, and even some of the big companies more willing to attend this kind of the tenders by provide even better quality of the solutions. So that's also a very great improvement for the solutions. So we get, we don't spend too more. If it's a fixed price, yes, but more maybe a little bit as expensive than the first one, but it's also reasonable. But definitely will get the better quality. Better quality also means you will have a better energy level, for example. So it's very important. But we still can go more, go further. For example, last year actually, Taipei City government started first, the service tender. That's very, very impressive and very, very nice and very, very difficult tender. The reason is say it's very, very nice because, for example, one of the very famous building of that's a star hub in Taipei, when they try to procure the air condition, they don't buy the equipment anymore. They tend to buy the temperatures. So what that means is, they will get the same price for the private sector, for the bidders, but they ask to fix temperatures. And what private sector can do is not only to provide the equipment, but also can be able to redesign the whole building, for example. So that means they can use their best solution, best machine, best equipment, to the buildings. Probably the best energy consumption level machines to the buildings, and also they can reduce the energy consumption by some kind of design, redesign the window or some things, for examples. So, and this not only save money, but also save the energies. So I believe that will be, the very important trend for the futures. So next, please. So it's my last slide. Once again, I want to thank you for the opportunity for me to be able to share experience with you. And I've said that the smart city is a long journey. So we always need to remember the core values of the smart cities. And we need to start new tech, but we don't chase the buzzword. You know, generative AI is nice, yes, but it's also consumes lots of energies. We need to understand why and when we need it. Yeah, not it's using everywhere. Yeah, and go deal with the issue, but don't bring more, especially when we spend lots of resources to deal a very, very small issue. That's I see lots of people are actually they're doing this kind of the things. So they deal with a very small issue by using lots of energies. Yeah. And one of the list is I think that's also one of the core value of my talk is, sometimes change system can bring more, change and chance. Thank you very much. This is Chen Yu Lee, and thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you, Zhen Yu, and take a rest. And I have a question to the Dr. Jinji, and actually, your presentation is very exciting. And just today, our TCP have a very ceremony talking about high tech and net zero initiate. And the EGDC, European Green and Data Coalition, their coordinator came here and talk about the ICT industry should meet the growth of the emission. And they think because the ICT industry, the consumption of the electricity power will cover about more than 10%. Especially they mentioned about the AI, cloud center, data application, blockchain, and also telecommunication. For example, 5G, they were more energy consumption. And they think they push all of the company, especially all of the telecommunication. You should push them to be net zero. But what I think is 5G and 4G is totally different. I'm wondering, Far Eastern, when I remember you are the first mover to use the 5G. The 5G is more consumption compared to 4G, or in the future will be more and more, or not. I'm wondering, Far Eastern, did you calculate the theory? Because I saw lots of the reports say, one report say, oh, it's save energy. One report say, oh, it's waste energy. I'm wondering, Far Eastern, did you calculate the data or not?
Yes, we did. Now I cannot give you exact, but then if I remember correctly, so this is so when people look at it is more expensive or more consuming, you have to look at what are you calculating. So if you calculate how much energy does it consume to process a certain size of data, right? In that sense, and 5G indeed is a lot more energy saving than 4G. It's almost like 4 times, But then until you have 4G totally migrate to 5G, you have both running at the same time. During this transition, of course, having added 5G on top of 4G, so the two combined, of course, would consume more energy than we had in the past before we deploy 5G. That's just natural. But then if you compare the two technologies themselves, and then 5G is more energy saving. That is correct.
Okay, so we don't need to worry about that because by theory your carbon emission will increase, but right now the Far Eastern is going down, right? And probably
right.
Also you have lots of projects, and probably in the future such as kind of project. Maybe if Taiwan have some kind of the a carbon crediting mechanism. That means to help the others can get the carbon credit back. So if we have the system like this, just like Japan or the other country, Far Eastern will have another phase in the future, right?
I would believe so, yeah, and I'm sure we will have some of the projects or work that we already have done. If we have this carbon right kind of system in place, that we definitely could apply for it. I'm confident about that.
Okay, wonderful. Because this early morning we invite some expert from the Japan. They have the JCM. Just I mentioned the JCM. J is not Japan. It's a joint crediting mechanism. That means if we help the one kind of project can help them to save energy, and we both can get the carbon credit. So such is kind of the issue. The Japan work with some of the Southeast Asia country work together. For example, to help them to build energy saving telecommunication or something, and you can get a carbon credit back and we share with the country. So it's a kind of investment, just like you did. So what I think is Far Eastern, you may have lots of potential, another phase because of a net zero trend in the future.
Yeah, we like to help. This is critical for everyone on earth, or for every company. So if there's anything that we have done right and that could help others, we would be more than happy to share.
Yeah. But I think the key issues right now, we did not have the ecosystem to how to help you to get the carbon credit project, right? In Taiwan, we did not meet that. We do not have the ecosystem like this. Yeah.
Right, not a well-established ecosystem yet, but then I did hear a talk about how this could be set up, and it is already being proposed. I think it is work in progress. So hopefully very soon we'll see something that is more mature and that could be shared with the industry, so we know what to do with it.
Yeah. Such is kind of project talk a lot in COP. And when we think about the COP meeting, sometimes you will think, the global deal, the renewable energy will be triple, and also we need nuclear. It's a traditional way you feel, but inside the COP, actually, such is kind of the project. For example, just you mentioned about this. All of this we can have a carbon credit. And such is kind of mechanism, if we have this, they can help the industry invest more in the future. And also you can get a carbon credit back and also help you to be net zero. So I think such is kind of the ideal. Maybe next year we should invite you to come to the COP.
Thank you. I look forward to it.
Okay, I have a question to the Zhenyu. And
Yes.
when before the net zero, we always hear about the smart city, and there's no linkage about the smart city and the net zero.
Yeah.
But in last 2 years, because just like a tsunami in Taiwan, everybody talk about the net zero. So I'm wondering, the smart city is phased out, changed to be the net zero city, right? Or not?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Peng, for your question. I think that's also a very key issue in Taiwan and worldwide. Basically, as I mentioned in my briefing, my slides, that the major purpose of the smart cities, supposed to be make the city sustainable. So that means, need to deal with the net zero issues. But as you can see, in the past 10 years, I believe that only very, very few people care about the carbon issues in small cities. So and even for example, in the past 2 years, the net zero emission is very popular worldwide. But it's very interesting because for lots of cities, actually, they give the project to different department, or to in charge of the projects. So that means, I believe there's something we need to do. Still we need to do because for myself, I believe that the net zero emission is one of the major purpose of the smart city, indeed. So basically, we need to do more. For example, Taipei city government in the past, most of the smart city project in Taiwan was in charge by the Yan Kaohui, or maybe the Department of IT, some kind of the IT department. But for the green program, I mean for the net zero program, most of them in charge by the Department of Environment. So it's a totally different department. Yeah, so I believe there's still lots of things. I believe that the net zero emission is city level issues. It had to be raised to the mayor level. So so that's what I observe, and I believe that there's more we can do in the future.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Maybe I can make a conclusion actually from today's talk and with yours. And I will use the report of the European EGDC, European Green and Digital Coalition. They have a report talking about the twin transition and for the ICT industry. They have the 8 KPI items we can focus. The first is set ambitious KPI to measure the success in accelerating the twin transition. The second is to promote the data cooperation to enhance access to and the use of sustainable data. And I think that Far Eastern can do that in the future. And also the boost connectivity and infrastructure. And so such is kind of telecommunication you can do. And for example, such is kind of when we want to measure the scope 3 carbon emission, telecommunication is very, very important key role. And the number 4 is develop international standard for measuring the digital enablement and the carbon footprint. So such is kind of the things also we can do. And also the increase the access to funding for R&D and innovation spending in green technologies. And also launch a continental-wide drive green tech skill. So green tech skill is very important. Also strengthen the link between the digital and green policies, and also create sector-specified action plans to facilitate the uptake of digital technology across the Europe most energy incentive sectors. So that 8 sectors is very important. So here from today early morning, and we will have a big ceremony to talk about the high-tech and net zero initiate. And also you are the last one to talk about a city and also the telecommunication. I think from the ICT industry point of view, or from the computer association or any IT company also point of view, we have a lot to do, especially link with the COP and the link with the digital and the green. Okay, probably do you have any comment? And I think it's all of your first COP. Although you are not here, I hope next year when we are ready enough, we will invite you to, because next year, Dr. Jinqi, you will be in Eastern Europe, and COP30 will be in Brazil, very far away, but next year will be near, much nearer. And so maybe next year we will invite you to visit the COP actually, to share.
I'll give it a try. This year I couldn't go there myself. So yeah, I'll give it a try next year.
Okay. Yeah, Zhenyu, thank you very much. And
thank you.
Dr.
I want one more word to say. And I also want to promote our Smart City Expo next March. We also have a net zero exhibition. So welcome everyone to Taiwan, to Taipei, end of March to join our Smart City exhibition and also the net zero exhibition.
Yeah. Actually, I take lots of a poster here to promote already for you. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Dr. Jinqi and Zhenyu. See you next time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.